Hi there. It's good to have you join us on this episode of NAPTIP On The Move. I'm Angela Agwegi. NAPTIP recently inaugurated a task force on human trafficking in Taraba State. What's the role of the task force, you may ask? Our package will tell you more if you stay with NAPTIP On The Move.
The State Task Force on Human Trafficking was initiated by the federal government to strengthen the national response to human trafficking at the sub-national level. This is aimed at coordination and reactivation of technical interagency cooperation with key stakeholders including donor development partners, law enforcement agencies, ministries, departments and agencies, traditional institutions, faith-based organizations and civil society. Inaugurated by state governors to enhance multi-sectoral response toward prevention of human trafficking, protection of victims and their access to justice, prosecution of traffickers and successful rehabilitation of victims of trafficking. With this objective since 2017, NAPTIP began to set up task forces in collaboration with state governments supported by donor development partners including the International Organization for Migration (IOM), United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime (UNODC), FIAP under the Action Against Trafficking in Persons and Smuggling of Migrants, a TIPSOM project. So far, NAPTIP has inaugurated 19 state task forces across the nation. These states include Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Benue, Borno, Cross River, Delta, Ekiti, Enugu, Rivers, Jigawa. Others include Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, Lagos, Nasarawa, Ondo, Ogun, Oyo and Plateau states, with the exception of the Edo State Task Force, which was set up by the state government. Just recently, the Director General of NAPTIP, Dr. Fatima Waziri Azi and her team were in Jalingo, Taraba State to inaugurate the Taraba State Task Force on Human Trafficking. The team was received by the Secretary to the State Government, Anthony Jalason, who also represented the State Governor at the inauguration ceremony of the State Task Force. Other guests at the event were the Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice, Commissioner for Women Affairs, Directors of NAPTIP, members of State Executive Council, traditional and religious leaders, security agencies, members of the Network Against Child Trafficking, Abuse and Labor, and representative of the IOM's Chief of Mission.
I would like to express our gratitude to the Director General of NAPTIP, Dr. Fatima Waziri Azi, for our unwavering support and efforts in curbing human trafficking in Nigeria. Human trafficking is a serious human rights violation which thrives on exploiting human beings for profit, and to curb it requires multiple strategies and strengthening partnership and coordination in one such strategy. Task Force provides an opportunity for joint training, help to create an agency buy-in, and promote dissemination of unified messages to the communities. Operationalization of the task force is therefore key and demands effective leadership and a unified commitment from all stakeholders. In the spirit of delivering as one united nation and in close coordination with NAPTIP, IOM has supported with the establishment and strengthening of 15 state task forces. IOM pledged our continued support to migration, governance, and counter-trafficking efforts to the federal and state governments, and would like to reiterate our continued partnership for facilitating humane and orderly migration for the benefit of all.
Delivering her speech, the Director General of NAPTIP thanked the state government for the support to the agency.
I would like by thanking His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Taraba State, for this opportunity to be here today in an effort towards strengthening our joint efforts to curb all forms of human trafficking and irregular migration in Taraba State and across the country. I believe we have an excellent opportunity here to express our deepest appreciation to His Excellency for the absolute support to NAPTIP in the fight against human trafficking in Taraba State, especially the provision of a space for use as the agency's liaison office. In addition, the government of Taraba has made direct referral of cases to the agency and has taken commendable steps in setting up an anti-human trafficking task force anchored by NAPTIP to support the agency's efforts in the fight against trafficking and persons in the state. NAPTIP is working assiduously to give effect to the decision of the 45th National Economic Council meeting, which held on the 24th of January 2013, that states should support NAPTIP's activities in order to strengthen the national response to human trafficking at the subnational levels, which is why NAPTIP, in collaboration with state governments, have been setting up state task forces against human trafficking under the supervision of the state governors in order to consolidate the efforts of the agencies and other stakeholders.
She then highlighted some of the roles of the state task force.
The state task forces on human trafficking has a pivotal role to play in ensuring adequate sensitization at the grassroots and among vulnerable groups, provide services and support to victims who have been rescued and returned, as well as share information and provide access to justice. And this requires strong political will and budgetary provisions by the state government, in addition to the commitment of traditional institutions, religious and community leaders, and civil society organizations.
The secretary to the state government made a speech on behalf of the governor.
This visit is indeed timely because the state has recently been on the news for the actions of some immoral, indecent people whose business it is to aggravate human suffering through human trafficking. It has therefore become very expedient as a government to demonstrate our resolve to stamp out these deadliest evils against humanity. The inauguration of the Taraba State Task Force on Human Trafficking is a direct affront to eradicating a trend that is slowly but surely emerging in the state. The fight to end this crime against human trafficking requires a comprehensive strategy that involves collaboration and networking among the governmental, non-governmental, and international agencies to bring the trade to an end.
He then pledged the support of the state government.
Let me reassure the State Task Force on Human Trafficking and NAPTIP that this administration will support them materially and also financially as the lean resources of the government can provide. So they can accomplish original purpose of completely eradicating all forms of human trafficking in Taraba State and also work closely with other governmental partners to eliminate the menace nationwide.
Then it was time for the formal inauguration of the Taraba State Task Force.
On behalf of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Taraba State, I have this singular honor and privilege to officially inaugurate you as the Taraba State Center of the Task Force on Human Trafficking, which will work for the benefit of the state and humanity in general.
The vote of thanks was delivered by the State Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice, Samuel Ada, who is the chairman of the task force. Done with the ceremony, the DG and her team visited the task force office donated by the state government and then proceeded to pay a courtesy call to the Deputy Governor, His Excellency Engineer Haruna Manu. Dr. Waziri Azi enlightened the Deputy Governor on some of the trends in trafficking.
I must say this is one of the few states that we've received this kind of support. This is will help us better serve the people of Taraba State. Of course, when we talk about human trafficking, it's not just predominant in a particular state. As of today, every state in Nigeria is affected by human trafficking. According to our records from November till now, 111 indigenes of Taraba of victims of human trafficking have been rescued by NAPTIP and sister law enforcement agency. And most of the crime of human trafficking borders along child labor, also domestic servitude, then also trafficking for sexual exploitation. So this is something that needs to be made a priority.
Welcoming the DG, NAPTIP and her team, the Deputy Governor urged the agency to support the state.
All I can say is we will continue to give you cooperation. We've been experiencing the child trafficking in Taraba State. Just like, again, you rightly observe, when they talk about child trafficking, people think that it's only in the southern part of the country. That is not true. Yeah. It's in every part of the country. Even in you go to the corner too, it's very, very rampant. There's child trafficking. Most of them will be taken to Niger Republic. And I know you have such cases in the northwest. So we do have it here too. And it's not just the child trafficking that they ferry children to the outside the country, but what is even horrible, or I can say more horrible, is the internal child trafficking. Most of them will be taken from within the country to another state, and we have had that in this state. So we need your support. We need you to give the office here in Taraba State all the necessary support that you need to, just like you support other states in Taraba, to need you to give us all the necessary support that will be given to other states.
The inauguration of the Taraba State Task Force on Human Trafficking brings the total number of state task forces to 21 so far. This is in line with the prevention and partnership strategy of the agency in its bid to ensure a human trafficking-free nation.
Preview. Your attention, please.
Are you a travel agent, or do you plan to travel abroad for work, school, professional sports activities or school excursion? Are you worried about incessant reports of human trafficking and unjust practices? NAPTIP is here to help. The Standard Operating Procedure for International Recruitment, recently launched by the federal government and relevant agencies, and NAPTIP's Regulation 2019, ensures that proper vetting is conducted and a clearance certificate issued by NAPTIP, so that your mind is at rest when you travel. Avoid irregular migration and falling victim of human trafficking. Regular and safe migration is possible. For more information, log on to tipclearance.naptip.gov.ng. This message is brought to you by NAPTIP with support from the International Organization for Migration.
The event segment is next. Keep watching. The Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development recently held its maiden management retreat for all the agencies, programs and projects under the ministry. The two-day retreat was themed Strengthening Social Inclusion for Improved Living Standards of Nigerians. The Permanent Secretary, Dr. Nasir Sani Gwarzo, welcomed all present.
My job is to welcome you, and I therefore welcome you to this maiden edition. Again, I'm happy to be part of the history making in this sector. To be present to be supportive to the process of bringing in or midwifing in this series, which we do hope every year it will hold, and that is the retreat, the management retreat of the ministry. It is an in-house event. In-house in the sense that it brings in the ministry and all the agencies so that we talk to ourselves and talk to ourselves sincerely. The retreat is aimed at assessing the ministry's journey so far, since inception, in what terms in relation to the mandates that have been approved for the ministry.
Representatives of heads of agencies under the ministry delivered goodwill messages. The Honourable Minister, Hajia Sadia Umar Farouk, addressed the forum.
This exercise, as we know, is the assembly of the management staff of the humanitarian sector, designed to brainstorm on actionable ways towards actualizing the mandate of the ministry. It is a period of stock taking as we are winding down to review the level of implementation and impact of the various programs and activities of this ministry, which also includes the National Social Investment Program. It is indeed remarkable to state that since after the establishment of this ministry in 2019 by His Excellency President Muhammad Buhari, it has not deviated from its vision to create sustainable and inclusive social systems that promotes human dignity in Nigeria.
She also highlighted some of the efforts made so far.
The National Social Investment Program is a flagship initiative of the President Muhammad Buhari's administration, which is designed to tackle the issue of poverty, unemployment, and other vulnerabilities, which are implemented across the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. And these programs are into clusters. We have the Job Creation Unit, namely the Empower. We have the National Homegrown School Feeding Program, the Government Enterprise and Empowerment Program, the Conditional Cash Transfer Program, Independent Monitors, the Unskills. All these programs, through the Empower program, government has empowered well over 1 million Nigerian youths from 2015 to date. As you gather to discuss ways of improving the productivity of the ministry, I encourage you all to demonstrate serious commitment to this retreat and to come up with a standard communique that will recommend ways of effectively strengthening the organizational structure and service delivery compact of this ministry.
Bring it down.
The retreat continued the second day with more presentations and a health talk on aging and well-being. The Director General of NAPTIP, Dr. Fatima Waziri Azi, made a presentation on emerging trends on trafficking in persons. Outline include overview on human trafficking, nature and scope of human trafficking, legal framework for combating human trafficking, antics of human traffickers, major transit and destination countries.
In Nigeria, we have a problem of internal and external trafficking, and most times the purpose of internal trafficking is usually for sexual exploitation. So across the state, we have a lot of girls being trafficked from one state to another to work in brothels, to work as prostitutes. Then domestic servitude, we have a lot of issues regarding that. Then of course, forced labor, we have debt bondage where you hire somebody then pay somebody else. Then child labor, illegal adoption, there's a high rate of illegal adoption right now, the buying and selling of human beings. In the context of the work we see a lot of buying and selling of children. So there's a trend of children being stolen from northern parts of Nigeria and sold in other parts of Nigeria. You send your child to go to the store and go get something, someone snatches the child on the road. Or the child is walking to school, somebody snatches the child. So those are the challenges that we see. NAPTIP has the powers to investigate, the powers to also prosecute. And since inception of NAPTIP has secured a total of 530 convictions till date. Just in 2022, we've secured 36 convictions and counting. And we currently have 252 ongoing cases in our various offices across the country.
The management retreat of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, billed to be an annual event, is aimed at stock-taking to enhance the activities of the ministry. The Director General of NAPTIP recently received a team from the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, led by Sharon Oladiji, Chief Protection Officer. Speaking on the purpose of the visit, she said that NAPTIP and UNICEF have a long-standing partnership, right from inception of the agency. She added that the recent development in the rising incidence of sexual and gender-based violence, especially as it affects children, calls for strengthened collaboration. She then highlighted expected areas for improved partnership, including capacity building of NAPTIP protection officers, counselors, and child migration. Welcoming the UNICEF team, Dr. Waziri Azi thanked UNICEF for the support over the years and expressed the agency's readiness for strengthened partnership. She also enlightened the team about some of the agency's recent efforts and achievements in the implementation of the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, including the appointment and deployment of NAPTIP protection officers to the 6 area councils and conviction of 13 SGBV offenders. Partnership with relevant stakeholders is one of the agency's 5-pronged approach in the fight against human trafficking and violence against persons. As usual, it's that time when we bring you an account of a victim. Don't go away.
In 2014, I was being brought up to Abuja to come and study with one lady, and she have 2 children which I take care of. Normally there's this rules and regulation and all that. I used to wake up by 4:30, and each day, if I do not wake up by 4:30, that day will be she'll flog me and all that. But there was one particular day, I woke up very late. Like throughout that day, she was just beating me. So I boiled the water in the morning for the children food. So when she was making the children food, she used the water and pour me, that is hot water, and which burns my body. At first I didn't know that my body had already peeled. It was when I realized, when I checked my body, I answered that yes, my body had already peeled. Then I ran outside. Then our neighbor came outside and asked me to enter inside her room, and she was still following me to beat me and all that. So the neighbor told her that, do you realize what you did to this girl? Like, she saw it, but she was still wanting to beat me. And so from there, the neighbor went to police command and reported the case. And then the next day, we saw a NAPTIP box, and they went to police command and sort out the issues. At first they asked me, have I forgiven her? I told them yes, I forgiven her because I don't have anything in mind and I'm not wicked like her, so I don't want to show wickedness to others. Then from there I went to NAPTIP. NAPTIP rescued me. I was being rehabilitated. I want to thank NAPTIP for rescuing me and for also making me to feel that I'm somebody, and also to work clever. I want to thank them for making me to go to school and fight for my right.
For more inquiries and support, or to report cases of suspected human trafficking, violence against persons and child abuse, please call NAPTIP hotline 0703 0000203 or the short code 627, or email us info@naptip.gov.ng. Visit our website www.naptip.gov.ng. Follow us on our social media platforms at NAPTIP Nigeria, or watch our videos on YouTube.
That's the size of our package today. Thank you for watching, and do join us again next week. My name is Angela Agbegi. Bye for now.